Today I have a really fun test to do. I'm gonna do light arrow versus heavy arrow. So I have two arrow setups here that are tuned for my bow. One is a 600 spine. This will be the light arrow. It weighs 408 grains, so super light. I draw 46 at 26 inches, so this is about 8.8 grains per pound. The other arrow I have here is a 500 spine. It weighs 508 grains, so it is about 11 grains per pound for this setup. So this isn't a super heavy arrow, but it's kind of in that middle range. Typically when you hear someone recommend an arrow for a traditional bow, it's in that 10 to 11 grains per pound. We're gonna see the trajectory difference and the gap difference. So what I'll do is I'm gonna start with my heavy arrow and I'm gonna shoot it at 20, 25, and 30. I'll shoot multiple groups at each distance to make sure I have the correct point of impact for the arrow, and then I'll go to the light arrow and do the same thing. I'm gonna mark all the yardages and where they impact, and then at the end I'll measure them and then we can compare them, see if it's a big difference. It's 100 grains difference in arrow weight, which is a ton. We'll see if it really makes a difference, but let's get started. Okay, first round at 20 yards with the heavy arrow. And one important note is that I'm going to do the same aim point for every single arrow. So I'm going to put the tip of the arrow on the yellow bullseye for every single arrow at every distance, because we're just looking at elevation. So let's get started. Okay, let's look at them. Okay, so you can see they're top of the blue there for 20 yards, but let me shoot one more round just to confirm that. Okay, think we know where that impact point is. I'm gonna try to just average the impact point for each group, but I'll use black to mark the heavy arrows. I would say the average is going to be probably somewhere in this middle, what is this, 5 ring? Right here in the middle. I'm just going to draw a circle here. That'll be our 20-yard heavy arrow impact point. Now let's go back to 25. First round at 25. Let's hope for good shots here. Remember, I'm putting the tip of my arrow on that yellow spot still. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so we're kind of maybe that yellow red line there for an average on this one. Shoot it one more time. Got it. I'm gonna say the average grouping is about this number here. Middle of the 9 ring. We're gonna go with that for 25 yards. Here's the first round at 30. Okay, not a bad group there. Okay, there's that group. I'm gonna say that average is middle of the 6 there. So we'll see on the second group if it's good arrows, what that officially is. All the crows in the background make me so excited for deer season. Well, for fall in general. And now they shut up. All right, Not as good as the first round, but I think I know where the impact point is. Okay, I would say the middle of the 6 here would be the average for 30. This one's kind of a flyer, didn't feel great, but compared to the last group, I'd say right about here. So I'd say that's a 30 mark, point of impact. So that's it for the heavy arrows. I could go back further to 40, but it wouldn't hit the target. It would just be harder to measure it. But now, let's go back to 20 and shoot the light arrows. We're back here at 20 yards with the light arrow and just gonna redo that process. Good group. Okay, there's the impact point there. We're not comparing impact points yet. We're comparing the distance between the gaps at each yardage. So that's a good group there, but let's just shoot it one more time and make sure. Round number 2, just checking the point of impact. Okay, we got our point of impact. Same spot, so I'm just gonna mark it and let's go to 25. All right, 25 yards. Not gonna lie, these light arrows group really good. That's probably an advantage to the light arrow, honestly. They're faster, so the difference in point of aim helps you, I think. So it looks like 25 yards is gonna be maybe middle of that 7 red ring, like right there. I'm shooting a little to the right. They're probably not perfectly tuned, but good enough for this test. Okay, 30 yards. Last set of arrows. Well, I'm gonna do 2 groups, I guess, at 30, if they're all good. I hit right in the middle. Middle. Ooh, these 2 group really good. Looks like 10 ring for these. So there's 30, it looks like 10 ring is gonna be 30, but let me shoot it one more round. Last round, the last 3 were decent, so we'll see. Dang. Ooh, that was a bad one. Getting a little tired. I should have taken a longer break, but I know where that impact point is. So let's go down there and discuss this. Okay, now let's actually discuss the gap difference between the 2 arrow weights, but first let's mark the 30 yards. I would say on average it was middle of the 10 ring. This one's kind of a flyer, but we're going on average. So I'll go just below this X here. Okay, now I'm gonna pull these. To better show you these gap differences, let's start with the heavy arrow. So at 20 yards, it hit right here. 25 yards was right here. And then 20 to 30 yards looks like that. 25 to 30 looks like that. With the light arrows, there's 20 and 25. And then 25 and 30. You can see the gap doesn't really change much from 20 to 25 to 25 to 30. Now I'll actually measure these. Let's start with the heavy arrow. So from 20 to 25 yards, it's about a 6.5 inch difference. From 25 to 30, it's about 9.5 inches. And then let's measure 20 to 30. It's about 15 inches. So now to look at the light arrows. It's about 6.5 inches from 20 to 25. And then from 25 to 30, it's about 6 inches, so it's about the same. That's a little bit of variance in my group sizing. So we'll say 6 inches, which is crazy. It's about it's the same gap from 20 to 25 and 25 to 30. And then overall, it's 12-inch drop from 20 to 30. To conclude this video and test, I am sticking with my 508 grain arrow for my hunting bow. The results are pretty interesting, and overall from 20 to 30, the drop difference between the two is only 3 inches, and it's a 100 grain arrow weight difference, which 100 grains is a lot. That's really interesting. I almost wonder if this will hold its trajectory better at longer ranges. But I can't really shoot 40 because it will be off the target, wouldn't be as accurate. Overall though, I know my 508 grain arrow out of my bow is gonna work great for hunting situations. It has good penetration. I like the trajectory. For whitetail, I like to be 25 and in on my shots anyways, so that 20 to 25 yard gap is really not bad at all. And I would just prefer having the heavier arrow for more hitting power personally. But overall, if you look at the grains per pound, a 508 grain arrow is 11 grains per pound approximately. This lighter arrow is only 8.8 grains per pound. Most recommendations you'll see by people is like 10 to 11 grains per pound. So I really do think that, just looking at the trajectory and shooting at what I've seen on animals I've shot, the 11 grains per pound is a safe bet, especially for whitetail. But that's just what I do. Some people like lighter arrows or even more heavier arrows, and it's just really personal preference thing and whatever makes you confident. Overall, that was a great test, and it's almost hunting season. We only have 2 more weeks here in Missouri. I got a lot of new camera equipment for the season, so I'm gonna try my best to get some really good hunting films out this year, just because they're fun to look back on, and it's awesome to spread the traditional bow hunting world with other people who aren't in it. But should be a great season, and good luck to everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.